Hello, hello, hello. Going to airport, we have what is oil. We can answer. This is oil. Hello. Hello. This is what is oil. Hello. Now, can you hear me? Is my voice is clear? Yes, I can see total number of students and now it's 45. So let's wait for 3 minutes. Let me go to the session. Okay. So while you have without please ensure that clearly. Okay. Guys, we know this is if it is clear, we can see clear. Can you hear me properly? Hello, can you hear me? Is my voice is audible? Yeah. So, guys, please tell your friends who are share the participant within 3 minutes, okay? So please come to your friends who are not joining it, okay? Okay, guys, shall we start the session? Guys, please try to respond to. So shall we start the session? Is my voice is audible? Okay, shall we start the session? Is my voice is clear? Please mention if you is my voice is clear? Yeah. Hello, can you hear me properly? Guys, please try to respond. Okay? So the voice is audible or not audible? I want to. Can you hear me? Guys, please give me a minute. I wish my mic okay. Yeah, okay, guys. Is my voice is audible? I hope my voice is audible, right? Now clearly. Okay. So, shall we start the session? Yeah, fine. So today we are going to start responsible AI in practice. Okay, clear? So today we're going to start about responsible AI in practice, right? So and I want you to make focus on what's in practice. Okay, so this is not theory, and it is not something that only researchers talk about. Okay, so this is about what really happens when AI is used in the real world. So in this slide, we can see that fairness, explainability, safety, and governance, right? So these might sound like big words, but they connect directly to our life. Okay, so imagine an AI system deciding who gets a job interview, who gets a loan, or who gets admission into a college. So if the system is not fair, some people might never get a chance. So no matter how talented they are. So if the system is not explainable, people won't know why a decision was made about them. So if it is not safe, personal information can be misused or leaked. So governance simply means there is something responsible when something goes wrong. So without responsibility, AI becomes dangerous. So you already interact with AI on apps like Instagram, YouTube, Netflix, and shopping platforms, right? So these systems influence what you see, right? What you buy, and sometimes how you feel. So responsible AI makes sure these systems help people instead of silently harming them. So for our generation, understanding these now means you won't blindly trust technology later. So we will question it, improve it, and build it better. Okay. So these are the topics we're going to discuss in today's session. Okay. So fairness, explainability, safety, and governance for trustworthy intelligence systems. So let's move into the concepts. Okay. Is my voice clear, guys? Please let me know in the Q&A. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about responsible AI in practice. So in this we will cover fairness, explainability, safety and governance for trustworthy intelligence systems. Okay, so we will going to discuss in detail about each and every term. Okay, so this is our agenda. So now let me explain what we are going to do in the session. Okay, so you can see in this slide, you can see the agenda, right? But please don't think of it as a list you need to memorize. So think of it like a roadmap for our conversation for today. Okay. So first we will clearly understand what responsible AI actually means, not using textbook language, but in a way that connects to real life. So then we will talk about ideas like bias, fairness, explainability, safety, and guardrails. These words might sound serious, but the situation behind them are real examples where AI caused problems because responsibility was ignored. Also explains where AI works well because it was designed carefully. We will also talk about how big companies manage AI using rules and processes. So which is what governance really means. So finally, we will look at wait a minute. Yeah. So we will look at IBM's responsible AI framework to see how professionals handles AI at large scale. By the end of this session, I don't want you to just remember definitions. Okay. So what we start thinking differently. So whenever you see an AI system, you should naturally ask yourself questions like, is this fair or is this safe? And can someone explain what this system is doing? Okay. Shall we move to the next slide? So in this slide, we will going to discuss about what is responsible AI. Okay. So in this slide, we will answer a very important question. So what exactly do we mean by responsible AI? So in simple words, responsible AI means building AI systems that people can trust. So not just systems that are faster or smarter, but systems that behave in a way that makes sense for us. So think about it like this. If you meet a very intelligent person, but you don't trust them. You will never depend on them. The same thing applies to AI. An AI system can be extremely intelligent, but if it is unsafe, unfair, or unpredictable, nobody will want to use it in real life, right? So, responsible AI focuses on making sure AI systems are safe, fair, and transparent and aligned with us, our values. So, it tries to reduce harm and avoid unexpected negative outcomes. So sometimes AI does exactly what we tell it to do, but that itself can cause problems if we don't think carefully while designing it. So responsible AI also means following laws, respecting, respecting privacy, and trusting, treating people equally. Okay, and we have to trust. So if these things are uh, doing good, we will trust it, right? So the last one is the very powerful. Trust is as important as intelligence. Without trust, AI will never be accepted in healthcare, finance, education, or government systems. So responsibility is not an extra feature; it is the foundation. Okay. Shall we move to the next slide? If you are having any doubts, please mention in the Q&A. Okay. I hope my voice is clear, right? Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Is my voice is audible? Please let me know is my voice is audible or not. Yeah, thank you for confirming. So, shall we move to the next slide? So, what do you understand by what is mean by responsible AI? So, I want answers from you. So, please text in the Q&A. So, what is mean by responsible AI? Guys, please try to answer to my question. Okay, what is mean by responsible AI? So, whatever the answer you know, please text it in the Q&A. If it is wrong, also fine. Okay. So don't think about whether you are giving the 100% correct answer or not. So please try to give whatever you know about responsible AI. Okay. Guys, I need more answers from your side. Yeah, okay. So responsible AI means building technology that people can actually trust. Okay. It's not about how smart, how fast the AI is. It is also need to be safe, fair, and honesty, right? So just like you wouldn't rely on a genuine you don't trust. Like if you're thinking about a genius person, so you won't trust, right? If he's are not fair or safe or honest, right? So society won't use AI in important areas like medicine or money unless it follows our laws and treats everyone equally. So essentially, responsibility it is not just an extra feature. It's the foundation that makes AI truly useful in the real world, right? Yeah, thank you guys for your replies. So I can see everyone is very active in the session. Okay, shall we move to the next slide? Guys, please let me know. Shall we move to the next slide? Uh, if you are clear, please mention it clear so that we can go to the next slide. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So in this slide, we're going to discuss about why responsible AI matters in agentic systems. Okay. So now we are aware of what is responsible AI, right? So responsible AI should be safe, fair, and honest, so that people can trust that system, right? So now let's talk about why responsible AI becomes even more important when we deal with agentic AI systems. Okay, so agentic AI systems act autonomously, right? So they do things by itself, right? So which means they can take decisions, or we can say actions, without asking us uh, at simultaneously. So the actions, whatever the actions that the agent will take, if we are using multi-agent system, so the things will done it simultaneously, right? So we will say that the decisions or actions can take without our interactions in agentic AI systems, right? So imagine an AI system that automatically approves refunds or escalates complaints, blocks accounts, or recommends medical actions. So one small mistake in such a system can affect thousands of people within minutes, right? So these are not test users. These are real people with real problems. So another issue is that errors spread very quickly. If an AI makes a wrong decision once, it can repeat the same mistake again and again at scale. So that is much more dangerous than a human making a mistake, right? So if we make a mistake, so we can say like if we make a mistake, the affected people will be less. But in case AI makes mistakes, the affected people will be in large scale, right? So legal and ethical risks also increases because companies are responsible for whatever their AI systems do, right? So whatever the AI systems developed by companies. So if that systems are not working well, so it is the responsibility of the company which is developed that AI system. The more freedom you give to an AI system, the more carefully you must control it. So think of it like driving. So riding a bicycle gives you limited power, but driving a car gives you much more control and speed. So we need rules, licenses, and safety features. So agentic AI is powerful like a car, and responsible AI acts like a brakes. So seat belts and traffic rules and more autonomy always means more responsibility. And that is the key message of this responsible AI, why it matters in agentic AI.
So can I get what is why responsible AI matters in agentic AI system? So this is my question. Can I get answer for that? So guys, please try to give the answer for why responsible AI matters in agentic systems. Guys, please try to answer why responsible AI matters in agentic AI systems. So in simple, we can say, so responsible AI is crucial for agentic systems because they act independently, right? So they take the actions automatically, right? So it depends on them, right? So small mistakes can impact many people quickly. So in that case, it's they are making a simple mistake. So it can be lead to a use loss, right? So strong controls are needed, right? In that case. So more autonomy always requires more responsibility, right? So that's why the responsibility is really matters in agentic AI systems. Okay. I hope you got the what is why we required responsibility AI in agentic AI, right? Shall we move to the next slide? Guys, can you hear me? Can we move to the next slide? So now let's look at the foundation on which responsible AI is built. Okay. So in this slide, we will talk about the core principles of responsible AI, and I want you to imagine these principles like a legs of a table. If even one leg is weak or missing, the table will fall, right? So these are must and should we should have, right? Okay. So let's discuss about bias. So bias mitigation means actively reducing unfair patterns in AI decisions. So fairness means making sure no group is treated badly just because of gender, background, or identity. And explainability means humans can understand why the AI did something. And safety means the system should not cause harm even by mistake. So, and guardrail means there are clear limitations on what the AI is allowed to do. And governance means there is accountability, meaning someone is responsible for the system's behavior. So these principles are not optional features that you will add later in the system. They must exist together from beginning. Okay, so we cannot say our AI responsibility if it is very accurate but unfair or explainable but unsafe. In real world systems, especially in companies that serve millions of users, so these principles work together to keep AI useful and trustworthy. So responsible AI is not a single tool or rule. It is a mindset that guides how AI systems are designed, tested, and used. Okay. So guys, may I know what are the core principles of responsible AI in the Q&A? So please try to give the reply. So what are the core principles of responsible AI? Guys, please try to answer what are the core principles of responsible AI in chat box. Okay. I hope everyone understood the core principles of responsible AI, right? So I will give a glimpse of it. Okay. So we have six core principles, right? So bias mitigation, fairness, explainability, safety, trials, and governance, right? So I will explain what is with these terms. Okay. So like bias mitigation means checking and correcting AI so it does not unfairly prefer one group, like ensuring hiring AI does not reject candidates just because of gender. I think you have understood what is bias mitigation, right? So the AI should not prefer for one group. So it has to consider all groups. Okay. So for example, I am taking here hiring the people. So I am creating AI system like so which will hire the people not based on the gender. Okay. So if it is making uh, like selecting only males or females, then we can say it as a biased. The AI is biased. Okay. I think it is clear, right? What is bias mitigation? So bias mitigation in the sense, so AI should not unfairly prefer one group, like ensuring a hiring AI does not reject candidates because of there is a gender difference. Okay, so coming to fairness, so treating everyone equally. So fairness means treating everyone equally. For example, if you take about approving a loan, so that system should give loans to each and everyone based on their profile. Okay, so not on their gender, like genders or where what is their type, like whether the employer or unemployed. Okay, so fairness means treating everyone equally. And coming to explainability, so explainability means explaining what the AI taking the decisions. Okay, so clearly explaining decisions, like an AI telling why a job application was rejected. For example, if I have applied to a job role, okay, so the AI is taking the candidates. So and so it is making reject mail, it is sending rejecting mail or accepting mail. Okay. So it should give why it is accepted and why it is rejected. So that we call explainability. When coming to safety, like preventing harm. For example, an AI system stopping itself when it detects unusual or risky behavior. So system should stop when it is uh, seeing like unusual activities or risky activities. Okay, so that we call safety. And guardrail means setting limitations, like restricting an AI chatbot from giving medical or legal advice. So, for example, if I created a chatbot for educational purpose, okay, so if I ask about medical or regarding defense, it should not give replies to that type of questions. So this is called keeping limitations. Okay, and when comes to governance, so governance in the sense having rules and responsibility, such as companies reviewing and monitoring AI decisions regularly. Okay, I think each and every term is clear, right? So bias mitigation means it should not select the people based on like gender, and fairness means it should be what equal. It should maintain equality and explainability. The AI should give reply why it is taking that action, like rejecting mail or accepting mail. Safety in the sense if the AI finds risky situation, it should stop. Okay, guardrail means keeping limitations. Okay, governance in the sense restrictions, so rules and responsibilities. Okay, shall we move to the next slide? Guys, if you have any doubts, please mention in the Q&A. Otherwise, we can go with the other concepts. Okay. So let's understand bias in depth in AI. Okay. So now let's understand one of the most important problems in AI. So which is bias. So bias in AI means systematic unfairness. Okay. The important word here is systematic, which means the unfair behavior keeps happening again and again, not just once by accident. Most of the time, bias does not come from the AI being bad or intentional. It usually comes from the data the AI learns from. So bias comes from the data on which the AI is trained on. Okay. So if the data contains inequality, the AI will learn the inequality. So the data is not having equality, then the AI is, which is going to learn from that data, will also have inequality, right? So for example, imagine an AI system trained on past hiring data where most employees were men. Okay, so the AI is hiring. Okay, the AI is trained on the past data where the hirings are more for males. The AI might start believing that men are better candidates, right? So not because it understands gender, but because it is copying patterns from history. So this is how historical inequalities enter AI systems. Bias can also come from wrong assumptions made while designing models. So common examples include hiring bias and loan approval bias, where some groups are unfairly rejected. So understanding bias is extremely important because we cannot fix a problem unless we clearly see it, right? So once we realize that AI reflects society's past, we also realize why careful data selection and testing and monitoring are so important when building AI systems. Okay, so I hope everyone understand what is bias, right? So can I get answer for what is bias? Guys, what is meant by bias? Please try to answer in the Q&A, okay? So in single line, we can say bias is a systematic unfairness. So where the system repeats society's past mistakes. So whatever the mistakes we have done in the past, so it will repeat the same. So like hiring or loan inequality. So because it is copying unfair patterns found in the past data it was trained on, right? So if in simple, if the data is having inequality, like when we talk about hirings or approving loans, so the model also learn the same mistake, right? So when we are training the model on past data, so because of that, the model also learn inequality. So that is called bias, right? I hope everyone understood, right? Shall we move to the next slide? So now let's talk about types of bias. Okay. So now we understood what bias is. So let's talk about the different ways bias can appear in AI systems. Okay. So bias is not just one single thing. It can come from many directions, and that is what makes it tricky. So data bias happens when the data used to train the AI is incomplete or unbalanced. For example, if a face recognition system is trained mostly on images of one group of people, it will struggle to recognize others, right? So sampling bias happens when certain groups are left out during data collection. So either intentionally or unintentionally. So algorithms bias happens because of how the model is designed or optimized, especially when it focuses only on accuracy and ignores fairness. So, and one more, confirmation bias is something we see a lot on social media when we like or watch certain types of content. The system keeps showing our us more of the same content, right? So slowly trapping us in a bulb. So over time, this can affect how you think and what we believe. So these biases are often invisible to users, which makes them dangerous. So that is why developers must actively look for bias instead of assuming AI systems are neutral or unfair by default. Okay. So how many types of bias we are having? So we are having four types of biases, right? So one is data bias and sampling bias, algorithm bias, and confirmation bias, right? So so guys, may I know how many types of biases are there in Q&A? So what is meant by data bias? So A learns from unbalanced or incomplete information data. So then we call it as a data bias. Like a face recognition tool that only sees one group of people. Okay. So what is meant by sampling bias? When it will occur? So it will occur when certain groups are accidentally or intentionally left during the data collection process. Okay, so what is algorithm bias? So AI's code is designed to focus only on speed or accuracy while completely ignoring fairness. So when AI model ignores fairness and focusing on speed and accuracy, then we can call it as a algorithm bias. Okay, and confirmation bias means the system traps you in a bulb, like by only showing as the content that watches what you already believe or watched. Okay, guys, I need replies from your side. May I know how many types of biases are there? Please type the answer in the Q&A. Okay, types of biases. Okay, guys, please try to answer in the Q&A. Types. How many types of biases are there? Shall we move to the next concept? Guys, please let me know. Shall we move to the next concept? So the next concept is what is fairness. Okay. So now let's talk about fairness, which is closely connected to bias, but not the same thing. Okay. So fairness is in AI means making sure that people are treated in an equal and just way. Okay. It means that decisions are not influenced by things like gender, race, or economy background. Okay, so this is extremely important because AI systems work at a very large scale, right? So even a small unfair rule, when applied to millions of people, can cause serious harm, right? So fairness does not always mean treating everyone exactly the same. So sometimes different groups need different support to reach equal opportunities. So for example, an educational system may provide extra resources to students from weaker backgrounds to create balance, right? So in AI, fairness must be intentionally designed and tested. So it does not automatically happen just because the system is intelligent. So developers and organizations must constantly check whether outcomes are balanced across different groups. So fairness is not a one-time setting, okay? So it is an ongoing effort. When AI systems are fair, people feel respected and included. And that is when technology truly becomes useful for society. Okay, guys, I hope everyone understand what is meant by fairness, right? Guys, please let me know. Can we move to the next slide? Do you want any clarification about fairness? So fairness means treating everyone equally. Okay, keep it in mind. Okay, so what is meant by fairness? Treating everyone equally. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, guys, if you are having any doubts, please mention in the Q&A. Okay, okay. Now let's find out what is the difference between fairness and bias. Okay, so let us understand the difference between bias and fairness. So because many people confuse these two ideas, bias is the problem and fairness is the solution. Okay, so bias causes inequality often silently. It hides inside data, so systems and decisions without people immediately noticed it. So that is what making bias dangerous. So fairness, on the other hand, is a concise design goal. It does not happen automatically. So someone has to intentionally design the system to be fair. So bias usually needs mitigations, which means reducing or correcting unfair patterns after identifying them. So fairness needs enforcement, which means setting clear rules and continuously checking whether the system is behaving correctly. So think of it like pollution and cleanliness. Okay? So pollution happens naturally if nobody controls waste, but cleanliness requires effort. rules and discipline, right? So in the same way, if you do nothing, bias will appear in the systems because data comes from an imperfect world. So fairness only exists when teams actively work toward it. So this slide reminds us that responsible AI is not passive. So you cannot just build a system and hope it is fair. Okay. So we must constantly monitor it, test it, and improve it to prevent inequality from spreading through technology. Okay. I hope everyone understood what is the difference between bias and fairness, right? So in simple, we can say bias is the hidden problem that happens naturally. Okay. So while fairness is the active or intentional solution required to fix it, right? So bias is the cause. So fairness is the solution. We can say, okay, got it? Guys, please let me know did you got the clarity about bias and fairness or not in the chart. Okay. I hope everyone understood what is the difference between these two things, right? Guys, if you have understood this, please mention it as a clear. If you are having any doubts, please mention in the Q&A, okay? So that we can move to the next slide, okay? Guys, is that clear? The concept is try to respond in the Q&A, okay? Shall we move to the next slide? Or do you want to break? Guys, if you want break, please give a emoji of T so we can have a break right now, okay? So otherwise, we can continue with the session, okay? Can you hear me, guys? See any responses from your side? If my voice is audible or not? Yeah. So if you want to break, please give a teacup as a reply, okay? So that we can have a break, okay? Yeah. So we can have till 20, 7:20. The break is from 7:12 to 7:20, okay? So have a break. I will share the attendance from a form at the end of the session, okay? Don't worry about the form. So I will Okay, guys, can we continue with the session? Is my voice is audible? Yeah, okay. Shall we continue with the session? Okay. Now let's talk about explainability in AI. Okay. So why explainability becomes even more important when we talk about agentic AI systems. Okay. So agentic AI systems make decisions automatically, right? So often without a human checking every step. So when something happens automatically, people immediately want an explanation. So imagine an AI system escalating your customer support ticket. So blocking your account or rejecting a transaction. So your first reaction would be to ask, why did this happen, right? So users need clear justification to trust the system. So developers also need explanations so they can debug issues when something goes wrong. So auditors and regulators need explanation to ensure systems follow rules and laws. So without explainability, it becomes impossible to understand whether an AI system is behaving correctly or unfairly. So a simple example is a support system that escalates certain tickets. If the AI cannot explain why one ticket was escalated and another was not, so trust disappears very quickly. So explainability keeps humans in control even when AI acts independently. It allows AI to assist humans rather than confuse or dominate them. So this is why explainability is not optional for agentic systems. It is essential. Okay. Shall we move to the next slide? I think everyone understood what is explainability, right? So whatever the decisions the AI is taking, it has to clarify it, why it is taking that decision. So that's what explainability. Okay. Shall we move to the next slide? So in this slide, we will learn why explainability is critical for agents. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry, I got a call, please. Okay, we'll continue. I hope everyone understand what is meant by safety in AI, right? Shall we move to the next slide? Guys, if you are having any doubts regarding safety in AI, please let me know in the Q&A. Okay? Guys, attendance will be provided at 7:50. Okay? Okay, now let's move to the next topic. So, guardrails in AI systems. We will discuss about that. So now let's talk about guardrails, which is very easy idea to understand if you think about roads. Okay, when you drive on a mountain road, you see guardrails on the road side, right? So these guardrails do not stop the car from moving forward. They are there to stop the car from falling off the cliff if something goes wrong. So AI guardrails work in the same way. So guardrails are rules and limits that control what an AI system is allowed to do. So they make sure that the AI does not produce unsafe, harmful, or unethical outputs. For example, content filters stop AI from generating offensive or dangerous content. So action restrictions prevent AI from performing risky actions without permission, like sending money or deleting data. So approval checks ensure that a human reviews certain decisions before they are finalized. So guardrails are especially important in agentic AI system because these systems act on their own. So without guardrails, an AI might do something technically correct but socially or ethically wrong. So guardrails keep AI aligned with human values and help us trust systems that operate automatically. Okay. Okay. So now let's look at real examples where AI was used irresponsibly. Okay, and this is a very important one to understand. So this slide talk about facial recognition misidentification. Okay, so facial recognition systems are designed to identify people by analyzing their faces, right? So, but in many real world cases, these systems made serious mistakes. One major problem was false positives, which means the system wrongly identified an innocent person as someone else. So this happened more often to people from certain racial or ethnic groups. So which clearly shows racial bias. So imagine being spotted, stopped, or questioned just because an AI system wrongly matched your face. So that can be scary and unfair. So another big issue here was privacy. So many people's photos were collected and used without proper consent. So in some deployments like those associated with Clearview AI, so these problems become very visible. The biggest lesson from this example is not that facial recognition is always bad, but that using AI system without fairness checks, so safety measures and proper governance can seriously harm people. So when responsibility is missing, trust is lost, right? And once the people stop trusting AI systems, it becomes very difficult to use them in society again, right? I hope everyone understanding, right? If not, please mention in the Q&A if I am fast, so I can do adjustment. Okay. If it is okay, please mention it is clear. Okay, guys, are you able to follow me, or I am moving faster? Please let me know in the Q&A. If it is okay, I will continue with the same rhythm. Okay. Guys, please try to respond in the Q&A. Is my uh, flow is okay? Guys, I need responses from your side. Okay, let's discuss another example. Okay. So the AI caused problems because it was not designed responsibly. Okay. So this slide talks about biased hiring algorithms. So in one well-known case associated with Amazon. So an AI system was built to help with hiring by reviewing resumes. The idea was to make hiring faster and more efficient, but the problem was the data used to train the system. The historical hiring data mostly included men because in the past more men were hired for technical roles. The AI learned these patterns and started favoring resumes that looked similar to past hirings. So as a result, resumes from women candidates were ranked lower even when they are qualified. The AI was not intentionally discriminating, but it was copying past bias from the data. So this example teaches us an important lesson. AI is not neutral just because it is a machine. It reflects the data and choices made by humans. If we don't correct bias in the data and design, AI will repeat the same, even amplify unfairness. So responsible AI requires us to actively fix these issues instead of ignoring them. Okay. So now let's look at a positive example, okay? So where AI is used in a responsible and helpful way. So in this slide, we're going to talk about healthcare decision support system. So in healthcare, decisions can directly affect human lives. So AI must be used very carefully, right? So in responsible systems, AI does not replace doctors. So instead, it supports them. So these systems follow a human in the loop approach, which means a human always has the final decision. So we have already discussed about what is mean by human in the loop, right? So the AI provides suggestions, highlights risk, or analyze large amount of data, but the doctor decides what actions to take. So transparency is also very important here. Doctors need to understand why the AI is recommending something. Okay, so not just see the result. Safety check are built in to ensure the system does not suggest harmful actions. So platforms like IBM, WhatsApp, and Health are examples of how AI can be used responsibly in healthcare. The key lesson from this example is that when AI is designed with oversight, explainability, and safety, it can improve decision making without taking control away from humans. So, responsible AI builds trust and helps people instead of replacing or confusing us. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? I hope everyone understood what is responsible AI example, right? So these topics are we have already covered, right? So I think it is easy to understand, right? So now let's talk about IBM's responsible AI philosophy. Okay. So now let's talk about IBM's approach to responsible AI. So because this shows how responsibility is handled in the real world. Okay. So not just in theory. So IBM's philosophy is very clear. Trust and transparency come first. This means AI systems should not behave like mysterious black boxes. So people should know what the system is doing and why it is doing it. So IBM also focuses strongly on enterprises grade governance. That simply means when AI is used at a very large scale, there must be clear rules, process, and accountability. So someone must be responsible for the system's behavior. Another important idea here is compliance focused design. This means AI systems are built while keeping laws, regulations, and ethical standards in mind from the beginning. So, not added later as the. Wait a minute. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. So, so, so another important idea here is we are talking about compliances focused design, right? So this means AI systems are built while keeping laws, regulations, and ethical standards in mind from the beginning, right? So not added later as an afterthought. Okay. So when AI affects millions of users, even a small mistake can become a bigger problem. So we have already discussed about how if a AI makes small mistake, how large it can affect, right? So IBM's philosophy shows that responsible AI is not just about being ethical; it is also about being practical. So trustworthy AI is easier to deploy, easier to maintain, and more acceptable to users. So this approach helps organizations use AI confidently without creating unnecessary risk. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So IBM Responsible AI Framework. So now let's understand how IBM turns the idea of responsible AI into something practical. Okay. So in this slide, we're going to talk about the IBM Responsible AI Framework. So which is basically a structured way to make sure AI systems behave properly. The framework focuses on a few very important areas. So fairness ensures that AI does not treat people differently because on things like gender or background. Okay, so explainability make sure humans can understand why the AI made a decision. Okay, so robustness means the system should work reliably even when conditions are not perfect, and privacy ensures that personal data is protected and not misused. Accountability means there is always someone responsible for the system's actions. So these ideas are not handled separately. These work together throughout the AI system's life. So the framework is integrated within IBM Watson. Okay, so which shows that responsibility is built into the platform itself, not added later. So this is important because responsible AI cannot depend only on good intentions. So it needs clear structure and tools. So frameworks like this help organizations may move from talking about ethics to actually practicing it in real systems. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So we're going to talk about responsible AI life cycle in enterprises. Okay. So now let's talk about something very important to understand. Okay, responsible AI is not a one-time task. So this slide explains the responsible AI life cycle in enterprises. Okay, so what this means is that responsibility starts from the very beginning and continues throughout the life of AI system is there. Okay, so it begins with data collection and validation, because if your data is wrong or biased, the AI will also be wrong or biased, right? Because the AI is trained on the data, right? So then bias testing is done to check whether the system is treating different groups fairly. Okay, and the explainability checks are done to ensure humans can understand decisions. So deployment safeguards are added before the system is released to users. So, but responsibility does not stop there. So continuous monitoring is needed because AI systems can change over time as data and usage change. New problems can appear even after deployment. That is why this slide says responsibility is continuous, not one time. So AI systems evolve, and our responsibility to control and guide them must evolve too. Okay, let's move to the next slide. So takeaways of today's session. So let's bring everything together and close this session with the most important message. Okay. So agentic AI must be trustworthy, right? So when AI system act on their own, people need to trust them. So otherwise, they will never be accepted. So bias and unfairness cannot be ignored or assumed away. So they must be actively identified and fixed. Explainability is what builds confidence because people want to understand decisions that affect their lives. So safety and guardrails protect users from harm and prevent AI from going to out of control. So enterprises frameworks like IBM Responsible AI framework shows how these ideas can be applied in real world systems. So the most important thing to remember is that AI is built by humans, not machines. Right? So as we are Gen Z, we are not just users of AI. We are future creators, developers, and leaders. So the choices you make while designing and using AI will shape the how the society enterprises technology. Okay, so if you build AI with responsibility, fairness, and care, AI can truly become a force for good. Okay. So guys, don't leave the session. We are having a very important quiz. Everyone must attend the quiz. Okay. So I will conduct the quiz. So it's a weekly quiz. So everyone have to participate in the quiz without fail. Okay. So don't leave the session. Okay. Guys, I'm sharing the quiz link. Okay. Please attend all the questions. Okay. So this is a weekly wise quiz. So we are having marks for this quizzes. Okay. So don't skip this quiz. Okay. Guys, I have shared the quiz link. Please attend it, okay, without fail. So, and don't leave the session. We will share the attendance form also, okay? So, we have shared the attendance form also. So, please fill the form before 8, okay? And also attend the quiz without fail.
Students kindly fill the attendance form before 8 p.m. and fill the Google form link which is having quiz
Guys,
as well as
please fill
feedback
the
form.
attendance form before 8, okay? And also attend the quiz without fail. Guys, once you are done with the attendance and quiz, please update the poll, okay? In the poll session, okay?
And also students, once quiz is done, please answer the poll as well as along with the attendance poll also.
Guys, please fill the attendance sheet and please attend quiz, okay? So after filling the attendance sheet and quiz, please update the polls, okay? Guys, don't leave the session, okay?
Students, there are only 50% of the people attempted quiz as well as attendance. Please fill both the forms, where these both forms are very mandatory. Okay. Kindly, after attempting quiz as well as attendance form, answer the poll. And also, don't leave the session. There are few important things that are needed to be discussed after these two. Okay, students. So there are few important things that are needed to be mentioned. Please kindly fill the quiz form. It is already given in the Telegram groups also. Go through that. So first is you need to maintain 70% daily attendance. So you need to fill the form before 8 p.m. only. And the second one is that you need to attempt and pass all the quizzes that are mentioning during the training sessions. Okay. And third one is that most important one where you need to complete all self-paced courses that are shared with you in your Telegram groups and respective sessions. Okay. And the score that you need to be secured for final assessment is 50%, and the minimum score for the project work and all these things are 50%. All these things are already mentioned in the Telegram group, and I'm just reminding it again. And last one is nothing but you need to log on to Future Skills Prime portal as informed earlier, where all the respective links, all the forms, etc. are given in the Telegram group. Kindly active in the Telegram group and fill the necessary requirements that are needed for the certification. If you're having any doubts, post in Q&A and answer the poll and kindly complete the quiz on attendance also.
Okay, guys, thank you for joining. Have a great day. Hope everyone attended quiz, right? I hope the quiz was very simple, right? Thank you for joining.